I'm glad you're mentioning that, because that's something that I've talked about a lot. That's also been driving me to do this, to have these conversations, is because, I found myself being in these different conversations within specific industries where it does feel very exclusive.
Yeah.
It's like if you are not 100%, you switch your entire lifestyle and you go 100% organic, you go 100% off grid, you go 100% carbon neutral, then you don't belong here.
Exactly.
Which is, and then it makes it feel very daunting for people who might be curious, who might be interested in just understanding a little bit more and starting to apply, just small little better actions every day. It makes them feel like that's not good enough, which actually is further from the truth, because I think collectively small gestures really can have an impact.
Totally. And I think, looking back 10 years ago, things have already changed a lot when it comes to, reusable plastic. There was a big change, when David Attenborough first spoke about, plastics in the ocean, and that's what really started this whole thing. So I think we've already achieved a really, really big change, and we get small setbacks every now and again, and just things where you just go like, this does not make sense at all. But I think we have moved forward, and I think, like, looking at the environment, I think these are the important things. We should really, really focus about putting less rubbish, less plastics into our oceans, putting less toxic chemicals in our rivers, putting less chemicals onto our soils, that just kills everything, planting more trees, stopping deforestation. These are really the important things that I believe, will, save the planet if it can be saved. These are the things
I think
we should be focusing about.
No, I agree with you, and I think that at the end of the day, when people are, because you hear a lot, especially in young people, and I don't blame them because we're young too, but I don't blame young people who have this sort of disenchanted outlook on life now, where they're like, well, what's the point of continuing, like you said, because but you have to look at it as, fair enough, right? What's the point of continuing? But then consider then what are the risks of stopping any efforts completely. And that's there is a level of certainty, but not full certainty, that the future cannot be hopeful if you continue to try, but it will certainly be hopeless if we stop trying.
Totally. And I think maybe let's not sort of pursue this illusion of going back to normal or going back to how it was, because it never never will. We just, and I hate the term the new normal, because it's kind of sort of a COVID term, right? But we live in a totally ever-changing world, and is that the climate or is that our society and things? But I think the point is, things have always changed. Our planet has always changed. Our climate has always changed. Things just constantly change. Nothing always stays the same. And then again, it's about how do we adapt.
Adaptive approach. Full circle.
Totally.
I love it.
Done that beautifully, I think. How do we adapt to the world that we're living in? How do we treat it? How do we best live in it? How do we thrive in it? How are we healthy in it? Which is going to look different now than it did 200 years ago, and which is going to probably look different again in 100 years time, where there'll be different challenges. So it's all about making the best with what you've been given,
what you have,
and what you have, totally.
And the more knowledge, the more understanding of different aspects of your life, seeing things through different lenses, the better choices you probably can make, just because they're a little bit more informed,
and,
right?
If I could, if you'd say one thing is like move a little bit away from the mainstream. Move away from the mainstream media, sort of kind of just open your view a little bit wider.
Don't dispel the info you have, but just widen your you can
widen
make
your view a little bit. Look at alternative things. Don't just stare down this barrel and think, you know, this is the only way. This
Yeah.
is the only way it is. You know, there is so much
Yeah.
more when you start looking at it.
At the very least, that knowledge can certainly be really complementary to our understanding of the world and of ourselves.
Absolutely, totally.